Gotta wash my coffee cup. The one I wanted to use is dirty. Kinda feel like a bartender. So how was your day? Have you been? What's new with your life? This coffee cup is a mood. Hi everyone, it's Lindey. Welcome back to another episode of Frequently Asked Fridays. This is episode number 4 in the series. That means that you should already know what this series is all about. But if for some reason this is the first time you're seeing one of my videos, hello, my name is Lindey. I am an e-commerce seller. I sell primarily on eBay, and my channel is all about helping everyone out there get better with selling online. This series is strictly dedicated to answering all of the questions that I get from my viewers so that I can fill these videos with as much information as possible. I have to tell you guys, I don't know what happened, but the questions that you asked over the last 2 weeks were so stinking good, all so good. And if you guys have watched my channel for a little bit, y'all know I could talk a lot. I can, take forever to answer a simple question. So I'm going to do my best to answer them as fast as possible. That way I can get to as many of them as I can. Another awesome thing about this video series is I have partnered with Wholesale Ninjas, and every single episode, they are giving away a 100 count liquidation lot to one of my viewers. If you don't know who Wholesale Ninjas is, they are a wonderful liquidation company that I personally use, and I really like to promote them on my channel because a lot of my viewers are just getting started with liquidation, and that can be a very, very scary thing. There are a lot of companies out there, and it's really hard to know which ones to trust, especially when you're just getting started with liquidation. But I find that Wholesale Ninjas is so consistent with their products and consistent with their quality control that I am confident that if you source with Wholesale Ninjas as a first-time liquidation buyer, you will not be disappointed. Every time I get an order from them, their quality control is always on point. There's not an abundance of stickers to take off of every single product, and they always have the kind of merchandise that I like to source in stock. If you've watched my other YouTube videos, you know that I really like selling health and beauty, and that is actually a category that's kind of hard to get with a lot of different companies, but Wholesale Ninjas always has an abundance of personal care, cosmetics, and other HBA products. So if I'm low on inventory, I always know that I can source with them and they won't be out of stock. I do also have a new coupon code that gets you $25 off any order, no minimum purchase. The code is Lindey25. I'll also link it and their website down in the video description. But if you want to be able to win a free lot from them, let me tell you what you can do to enter to win on the next episode. All you have to do is ask me a question to be featured on this video series. Down in the comments below, just make sure to put your question in the comment section and indicate with 5 question marks at the start of your question to verify entry. You can ask as many questions as you want to be featured on this video series. However, only one of those questions can have the 5 question marks that indicate entry. And that's just to keep it fair, you guys. So I know that the last episode I baked cookies with you guys, and I'm standing in my kitchen again, so you might think that we're gonna do something similar to that, but I'm only standing here because I need to make more coffee. So I'm gonna get a cup of coffee made and we're gonna go sit outside. So while we're waiting on my cup of coffee to brew, I want to get started with the first question, and that is, why are there bullet holes in my refrigerator? And I have to say, you guys are very, very creative and super funny with your reasoning as to why they exist on my fridge. And I really wish that I had a really funny, quirky story to describe how these dents got in my fridge, but unfortunately, I don't have a fun story. I like all of your stories in the comment section better. So tell me a funny reason why these dents would be in my refrigerator door, because cracks me up every time I read one. Now, when we bought the house, this fridge was already here and no idea where these came from. I inherited the dents. I didn't make them. Diana's Melina asks, hello, Lindey, how are you? I'm great, thank you. I wanted to ask you, whenever I first turn on the out of stock option, do I have all of my sold items ready to replenish stock, or is the ones from the moment you turn it on? Coffee's done. So if you don't know what the out of stock option is, it's basically a feature that you can switch on for your eBay listings so that after an item sells, the listing still remains active. And if you happen to get more of them in, you can simply go edit the listing, change the quantity, and it's already available for sale. You didn't have to worry about relisting the item after it had ended. A real perk to this is that you keep the sales history on that listing, and because the listing doesn't end, that means that you don't run the risk of having to create a brand new listing the next time you get it in stock. So if you check mark the box to turn the out of stock option on, then that means that only the listings after that point are going to remain active and you can replenish the stock. If you had listings before checking that box, those will end because the out of stock option wasn't turned on when you created them. I do have a full video all about the out of stock option that I will link up here in the iCards. I'll also put it down in the video description so you can go watch that and learn more about the out of stock option and if it would be a good thing for you to utilize. Marita Meha asks, hi there, Lindey. Hello. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule for all of the informative videos. Oh, stop it. How do you handle buyers who claim an item was received in a different condition than the listing states? For instance, a lipstick listed as new and unused, and a buyer claims that the lipstick was used in order to open an item not as described and request a full refund. Interested in hearing if you have a way to protect yourself from these kind of disputes. Thank you. So, unfortunately, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but with stuff like cosmetics, it's really hard to win against an item not as described case because most of the time cosmetics are sealed and there's no way for you to like open the cosmetic and prove that it was new when you sent it. And that unfortunately is kind of a risk when you sell cosmetics. But just know that it doesn't just happen with cosmetics. Buyers will file false INAD returns all the time, and it can be very difficult to win in a dispute because sometimes eBay says the buyer's always right, even though they're not. Rarely, in my opinion, of course. Do one more and then we'll head outside. Sherry Bode asks, I watch your videos consistently. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. I've gone onto my store to do one thing to get noticed. I've lowered my prices. I have or best offer on. I've called eBay to refresh my store, yet I'm still not getting sales. What am I doing wrong? Thank you. So I know that I always preach to you guys about being active, accepting offers, making sure your prices are competitive, have good pictures, refresh your listings, change your title, all of these things to try to boost your sales. But it's not a surefire way to trigger sales. There are so many variables that come into consideration with getting sales. It's not just a matter of having the best pictures, the best price, and the best title. A lot of the times competition has a lot to do with it, and a lot of the times there might not be enough buyers to compensate for competition, and you just simply have to wait for your item to sell. Unfortunately, there is no switch that we can just flip to instantly get sales on our items. Sometimes we have to just wait for our buyer to come around. And until then, you can do all of these little things to try to trigger sales. And if you feel really pushed to try to sell it, you can always try eBay's promoted listings. That's when you pay an extra fee to have your listing appear as a sponsored ad in the eBay pages. All right, got my coffee. Let's go outside. Let's not drop the camera there, Lindey. Let's not do that. That won't be fun. Dirty my kitchen is. Just ignore that. We're going outside, right? Yep. I'm about to sit on a whole bunch of leaves here. Nope. I guess that's better. As good as we're gonna get, I think. Can never get the angle right the first time. This coffee cup is a mood. Kendra F asks, how often do I need to list to keep eBay's algorithm on my items without using promoted listings? Also, if promoted listings are best, is there an amount or percentage that it costs to promote your listings? Thank you so much. You're awesome. Thank you, Kendra. I think you're awesome. There's a lot of talk out there that says that you have to list every single day in order to stay in eBay's algorithm. However, I have kind of had that debunked when I visited eBay and talked to numerous different eBay reps that it's not necessarily the new listings every single day that's keeping you in eBay's algorithm favor. It's more about activity and doing things in your eBay store. For a really long time, I thought that I had to list new items every single day. I would schedule listings out, so I made sure that I always had some ready to go every single day. But then the more I started thinking about it, the more I realized, why am I waiting when they're ready to go live now? They can't sell if they're not listed. So I just started sending my listings live as soon as they were ready. And I just started doing other forms of activity every single day, like doing listing revisions or running sales or going in and adjusting my prices on a few items here and there. And what I found is that I saw the same kind of results not listing brand new items every single day and just simply having some form of activity. Now, when it comes to promoted listings, I did just recently do a promoted listings test. I will link that video up here. And in that video, it was my own personal conclusion that doing the eBay trending ad rates got you more listing impressions on the search page. However, there are many sellers out there that will just do simply 1, 2, or 3%, not the trending ad rate, because it can get expensive in some categories. And they say that they have perfectly fine results. I actually did both. I did 1 week at 2% and then another at the trending ad rate. That's why I tend to think that the trending ad rate gets you more impressions, because in the data, it was very, very clear that more eyeballs were on my listings with the trending ad rate than the lower percentage. So that could really just be personal preference. It's really windy out here today. Hopefully it's not like really loud in the microphone. Although I do feel like I can have like a swoopy haired thumbnail. What do you think? Is it a good look? K Carter 101 asks, do you use any kind of inventory numbering system? It looks like you label bins. So when I was doing clothing, I did do lettered and numbered bins. And I know that a lot of people that do clothing that prep their items for storage so that they can just grab it and drop it in a poly bag and ship like to do a lettered and numbering system. For instance, they might have a bin letter A, and then there's a number that correlates with that bin. So if they're looking for a certain t-shirt, that certain t-shirt might be labeled A15, and so it would be in the bin A, and it's number 15 in bin A, and so they just can easily, go through and pull it. Now that is a very intricate numbering system, and it does take a little bit more to put your items away if you're going in and you're indicating a certain very, very specific inventory number along with it. But I don't do that. So my inventory system is basically set up like subcategories of a department store. For instance, I have one bin for men's deodorants, another bin for women's deodorants. I have one bin for eye makeup, and then I have another bin for mascaras. I have another bin for lotions, and so on and so forth. I don't see a certain letter or numbering system being beneficial to me. Also because I don't like putting stuff away, and I feel like if I had a very strategic lettered and numbered system, it would take me way too long to put stuff away. Like I said, I also like to turn and burn merchandise. It is not uncommon for me to sell things that I just listed before I even have a chance to put it away. So if I was taking that time to correlate a letter or a number of a certain bin, that would be a lot of wasted time because the item could potentially sell within 24 hours anyway, and I could have been using that time to just list new merchandise. Also, let me know down in the comments below if you want to see my new inventory system once I get it all finalized. I did have one inventory system at my old house, but since I moved, I have kind of changed how I'm storing everything. The basis of it is still the same, but there are some changes. So let me know down in the comment section if you want to see a newer updated inventory video. Pick the Patch asks, I just found your channel recently and really enjoy the content. Thank you so much. I have learned so much, not to mention you are so entertaining. Wow. If you think so, who am I to argue? Thank you for all you do to keep us informed. You got it. My question for the week is, the Scotty peeler works great to get rid of stickers, but what do you use to remove the sticky residue that's left behind? So Scotty peelers are amazing. They are a lifesaver. If you have stickers to remove and you don't use a Scotty peeler, I will link a Scotty peeler down below. They're literally like $2, $3 a piece, and they are incredible. But my suggestion to you is to use some form of heat when you remove the stickers. For instance, a hair dryer. I like to just use a standard hair dryer. I heat up the sticker and then I use the Scotty peeler to peel the sticker off. When you use heat, it basically keeps all of the adhesive on the back of the sticker and it doesn't really leave a residue at all. However, there are some finicky stickers out there that will leave a residue, and if you need to get rid of any residue, I would suggest Goo Gone. I've also heard of people using lighter fluid. However, I've never personally tried the lighter fluid, but I know a lot of people use it. At least I think it's lighter fluid. You might want to Google that and double check before you go dump a bunch of lighter fluid on your merchandise. But I use Goo Gone and it works very, very well. But I find whenever I use heat to get the sticker off, there is rarely ever residue left behind. Tiffany G asks, "Hey Lindey." Hello, Tiffany. Thank you for all your informative videos. You're welcome. I've been selling for years, but always learn something new from you. Thank you. My question is, how do you handle items returned to you by the mail carrier due to an undeliverable address provided by the buyer? Side note, item had free shipping and was shipped priority flat rate envelope. Thanks in advance. So this happened to me a couple of times actually, about 4 years ago when I was just getting back into like ramping up my eBay store. And I actually talked to an eBay rep about it because I wasn't exactly sure how to handle the situation. I had sold a shampoo and conditioner set to somebody and the package was returned because the address was undeliverable. I had sent them a message letting them know that the package came back to me and they just never responded. So I basically contacted eBay and I asked them, what am I supposed to do? Like, am I supposed to give them a refund? Am I supposed to just sit around and wait? What am I supposed to do? And the eBay rep basically told me that if they weren't responding, to wait about a month, and if they didn't respond with a forwarding address, that I didn't have to refund them. And so that's basically what happened. They never got back to me, so I just sold the item again and I didn't worry about refunding them. But the right thing to do is to contact the buyer, let them know that you received the package back, and I would definitely ask them to pay for the new shipping label because it is free shipping. Just because you had the wrong address doesn't mean that you should eat shipping on both labels. So I would most definitely tell them that they need to pay for the new shipping label. Now, this gets a little bit tricky if you're on managed payments, because if your payments are getting processed through PayPal, they can just simply send you enough money to pay for another shipping label. But with managed payments, I don't exactly know how you would be able to do that. Another option is to just simply give the buyer a partial refund less the original shipping cost. So for instance, if they paid $20 with free shipping on an item and you wanted to give them a refund and the shipping label was $6.94, then you would just be sending them a refund. So you would just be sending I'm having so much trouble talking today. I don't know how far we are in this video at this point, but I've been filming for like an hour and I've had to cut so much stuff out because I am like tongue-tied today. This is getting ridiculous. Apparently I need more coffee. Oy vey. So if they paid 20 bucks, you paid $6.94 for the shipping label, then you would be giving them a refund of $13.04 because you are going to charge them for the shipping label that came out of your pocket and they never even received the item. Barry Poppin' Tags asks, "Hi Lindey." Hello. Let me start first and thank you. Your videos have brightened my days and I'm learning so much. Keep up the great content. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. Now to my question. Let's do it. Do you ever feel like a hoarder? All the time. Does anyone outside of your family think you're crazy for having so much inventory? Oh yeah. I'm new to this reselling craziness. It's so addictive. Whoo, let me tell you. Oh, you don't have to. I know it's addictive. I don't have enough space in my home and I'm going to get a storage unit. Sometimes I just get a little overwhelmed by a massive amount of stuff that I have to sell. Help. So when I was first getting started with really ramping up my jeans store on eBay, when I was selling a lot of jeans, I would get the funniest looks from people that would come over to my house and they would basically see a denim shop in my basement. There was all these racks full of jeans and people would look at me like I was nuts. And it got even worse when I started getting pallets of merchandise and I just had all of this stuff in my garage. People would come over and there would just be bins upon bins upon bins of stuff. It always looked like I was moving, basically. It looked like I was moving. And now that I have moved to a new house, I can only imagine what all of my neighbors think when they see trucks just dropping off pallets and they see the stack of empty boxes that I put out for recycling every other week. But you know what? It's gotten to the point where it doesn't really bother me anymore, honestly, because I am so proud of the business that I have built, and I am more than happy to like talk their ear off if they have any questions about it. But let's get to your question about how to control all of it. I wish that I had a magical answer that would fix your sense of overwhelm with all of this inventory, but unfortunately there's not an easy fix. The best thing that you can do is try to figure out a way to separate your home life from your business life so that it doesn't keep stressing you out and overwhelming you every minute of every day. Also going to take a certain amount of willpower to slow down your sourcing and force yourself to list all of those death piles of things that you've been putting off. I'm actually struggling right now personally with that because I just finished going through 4 pallets of merchandise and getting a whole bunch of stuff listed, and I'm already wanting to go buy more pallets, but I know that I still have stuff from previous pallets that really does need to get listed because my basement right now is starting to look a little bit crazy, and if I bought 4 more pallets, I honestly don't know where I would store it all if I didn't list it and sell it immediately. It would basically just sit in my garage, and that's capital that's tied up. And that's the way you need to think about any unlisted inventory that you're being overwhelmed with. It's capital that's tied up that should be making you money. If you can, try to keep your inventory in a separate area so that you don't have to look at it every day, and just remind yourself that it's money sitting there and try to get yourself to list it. But know that you are not alone. We all have that same problem because sourcing is fun, and I think that we're all closet hoarders just a little bit. Nope, just me. Okay. Ashley's Deals asks, what camera do you use to film your videos, and is it the same camera that you go live with? No, they're 2 different cameras. The camera that I go live with is a webcam. It is the Logitech C920, I believe. I'll link it down below. And the camera that I'm filming with right now is actually a Canon G7X. It is not the Mark II, the Mark III. It's not super fancy. It's a very basic one. I bought it used on eBay. It has a teeny tiny little scratch right here. It's like right here on the lens. Am I poking you? Am I getting to your third eye? And I've been using this camera for almost 3 years, filming my videos now. Paid like $300 for it used. It's probably even cheaper now, but I'll link some down below if you're interested. Oh, there's the winning question that was selected, but I'm gonna skip it and save it for the end. Make sure you keep watching so you can find out if your question won. Bill Jentz asks, I know you specialize in beauty aids and cookies. Love cookies. My question is, do you ever sell larger, overweight items? And if so, how do you deal with shipping? I have an item that weighs 12 pounds and the box is 15 by 15 by 12. I usually do free shipping, but this one is pricey. Just wondering what Lindey would do. So I will occasionally ship heavier, big items. I don't very often, and that's why I always charge shipping to the buyer. As a general rule, if anything weighs over a pound and is bigger than 12 by 12 by 12, I almost always charge shipping to the buyer. I select calculated based on buyer's location, because if you've been shipping for any length of time, you'll know that depending on where you are, you can't guarantee that your buyer is going to be somewhere. So if you have a 12-pound box, just because you have shipped it once for $10 doesn't mean that somebody further away is going to end up buying something that big this time, and you'll end up paying double that. So because there's no guarantees of where your buyer is going to be, and if the shipping price is going to change from the last time you saw it, always charge shipping to the buyer. When you create the listing, just make sure that you have the accurate dimensions and the accurate weight of your item. That way the buyer will pay for 100% of the shipping label, and you don't have to worry about eating into your profits in order to ship it. Sabrina Karchik asks, did I say that right? Karchik? Is it Karchik? Sabrina Karchik? Give me a thumbs up if I got it right. Why is PayPal still an option for payments on eBay if you're now on managed payments? Because buyers can still pay with PayPal. The split with PayPal and eBay was just a payment processing split. Buyers can still pay through PayPal on any platform that accepts PayPal, which eBay does accept PayPal. We as sellers just don't have our payments processed through PayPal's processor. Woo! Woo! Payments processed through PayPal's processor. That's a lot of P's. So buyers can pay however they want to, but eBay is the one managing payments for us now. Aubrey Hardman asks, is there a better sell-through rate when you have a store versus not having a store? So sell-through rate has nothing to do with your store level. Your sell-through rate has to do with how many items you're selling versus how many you have listed and have been listing in your store. And because your sell-through rate is simply just a figure of how many you've sold versus how many you have listed, a store subscription really has no relevance in that, because you can list and sell just as many things without a store as you can with a store. Carolyn S. asks, thank you for the great information. Thanks, Carolyn. I've seen where you run sales consistently, allow offers, etc. Do you still have times with slow sales? Yes. Like I mentioned previously, just because you do all of these different things like running sales, adjusting prices, changing photos, all of that, it doesn't mean that you're always going to have super consistent sales. But what I will say is the time I see the slowest sales are the days where I have not been listing anything for a week or more. So because I do juggle so many things, I juggle the channel, I juggle social media, I juggle affiliate marketing and different platforms, because there's all of these other things that I have going on, that doesn't mean that I consistently list on eBay every single week. And if I go more than a week without listing anything new on eBay, that is typically when I will see sales slow down. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that when your store amount dwindles down, there's less items for you to sell. Because mathematically speaking, the more items you have available for sale, the more items that you can sell. But if you have items in your store and you're selling things and you're not putting more stuff in your store, the amount of items that you have available for sale slowly starts to dwindle, and that means that you have less items that can sell on the platform. So I typically see a real slowdown in sales when I'm not showing the platform a lot of attention and I'm not consistently listing new merchandise. But as long as I'm consistently listing new merchandise, running sales, doing promotions, all of those things, it's very, very rare that my sales will slow down. Midwest Mama's Adventures asks, it appears that you do free shipping on items less than £1. How do you handle it if they order multiple items or if one item is more than £1? So there's a very general theme that runs through my eBay store, and that is everything is relatively the same size. If an item does weigh over £1, there is the very high likelihood that it's going to either fit in a flat rate envelope or a regional A box. And even if I have items that push £1, if someone orders 2 of them, there's still a really good chance that I will be able to put it in a flat rate envelope, because everything that I sell is relatively the same size. That's another thing that I really like about health and beauty. Everything is pretty small and weight is always fairly predictable. I do tend to figure what I'm going to have to pay for shipping into the list price. So if someone is buying multiple items, it's just a combination of all of those estimated shipping prices that I've already fixed into the sale price. So if someone ends up spending $40, I basically know that whatever I'm going to have to pay for a shipping label is going to more than cover that with the sale price, even though there's free shipping on it. And even doing free shipping, more often than not, when someone orders multiple things, it definitely saves me money in shipping overall, just because the items are so consistent with size and weight that I know I'll either be able to ship it in a regional A, a priority flat rate envelope, or if it's something like cosmetics, I'll be able to put a bunch of them all in the same package and still ship it first class. Kim Mello asks, when you first started listing, how many items could you list in an hour compared to now, and how long did it take to get there? So a very big factor in this is the kind of items I was listing. When I first started listing clothing, I was only able to do 5 to 8 an hour at my absolute fastest. That was because there had to be, clothing being pressed. I would have to dress a mannequin. I would have to hang things up, smooth things out. I would also have to take a lot more pictures if there was a lot of detail that needed to be noted in the photographs. You also have to take measurements if you're doing clothing. So when I first started listing clothing, I was able to do 5 to 8 an hour, and then it got closer to 10 because I was just consistently doing jeans and I would get into a rhythm, and so I could knock out 10 at the most 8 was a safe bet. But with liquidation, health and beauty, anything with a barcode, when I first started listing those items, I was able to do 8 an hour almost instantly. And now I've gotten to the point where I can easily do 10 to 15 listings an hour as long as it has a barcode. With liquidation, it didn't take me that long to go from, 8 to 10 listings to 10 to 15 listings. It really is just a matter of putting your head down and getting the work done. People can catch on to listing a lot faster than others, so just take it at your own pace and don't feel like you're not doing it fast enough if you can't do it as fast as someone else. Annette Gafford asks, is your husband going to join your team? So this is actually a perfect opportunity to let you guys know of something that has happened. You guys know that my husband was unfortunately laid off from his job. However, the day before his last day of employment, they actually contacted him to extend his contract through the end of the year. So the bad news is he's still laid off, but the good news is he still has a job through the end of the year. So after his job is over, when January comes around, is he going to join my team? I don't know. A lot of the husband and wife teams that I see doing reselling, they both have a real passion for reselling. They're both entrepreneurs. And, no shade to my husband, but he's just not. My husband is not a born entrepreneur. My husband likes to punch a clock. So I'm thinking that he might help me a little bit with the business while he looks for another job, but I don't know if it's the right time for him to join my team completely. I would eventually like us to get to that point one day, but I think that my husband is at a point in his career now where he's not exactly thrilled about not going out and getting a job just because this one is over. And I don't want to force him to do something that he doesn't want to do because then that's not fun for anybody. So I guess time will tell. We'll see what happens. Rebecca Trevino says, "Hi, Lindey. Hello. Thank you for another informative and fun video. I like it. My question is, have you ever done retail arbitrage? If so, which do you like better, liquidation or retail arbitrage? And which one do you think is more profitable?" This is a hard one. Yes, I do retail arbitrage, but between the two, I like liquidation more. Simply because retail arbitrage, you have to go out and you have to hunt for things. Part of the reason why I like liquidation so much is I can spend my time working and I don't have to go out and hunt things down. Inventory just shows up on my doorstep and I can list it, sell it, make money. Now, which one is more profitable? That one's tough. In my experience, you have more capital to risk when you do retail arbitrage because it's very rare that you can do retail arbitrage and buy things as cheap as you can get them when you're buying liquidation. But bigger capital investment can also mean bigger return in some circumstances. For instance, if you're flipping retail arbitrage on Amazon, prices are known to start very quickly tanking, and that means that profit margins can drop very, very quickly. Because here's the thing about retail arbitrage on Amazon. It's no secret anymore. People know that you can do it, which means if it's for sale at Walmart in the clearance section, chances are that there's going to be hundreds, if not thousands of other sellers that are finding that exact same item and putting it on Amazon, which can very quickly turn your super profitable retail arbitrage flip into eating into all of your profits because the price has tanked. That's the riskiest thing with retail arbitrage. Because if you get liquidation, you potentially have things that not a lot of other sellers have. But if it's retail arbitrage and you're buying at a major department store, there's a lot of other sellers that could potentially have found that exact same product, and that could cause a major influx in price on whatever platform you put it on. So Rebecca, to answer your question, I much prefer liquidation to retail arbitrage, and profitability could go either way, depending on where you're selling the item and what kind of item you're selling. Dominique Life in Moderation asks, would you be willing to share a reputable clothing liquidation source other than B&G, Honcho, and Jumar? Since you no longer really sell clothing, I'm just wondering. I've used Wholesale Ninjas once so far, but don't have a lot of storage space though. Thanks for all of your help. So I don't have a lot of experience with buying liquidation clothing or wholesale clothing. One company that I did use that had really good quality was Via Trading. You can buy pallets of clothing with Via Trading, and they do have manifests when you buy pallets, or you can buy by the box, which does not have a manifest. The prices are pretty fair and the quality is very good. Mostly all of it was new with tags, and if it didn't have tags on it, it was still new condition. The tag was just ripped off. Other than them, I honestly don't really know of a lot of other places where you can buy clothing in bulk online. However, I've recently told you guys about a liquidation guide that I've become affiliated with. It's by Product Sourcing 101. So now this liquidation guide is not free, but it is filled with helpful information about buying liquidation, as well as a massive list of liquidators all across the United States, many of which sell clothing. So if you want to take a look into purchasing that guide, I am an affiliate for it. I have read through it. A lot of my suppliers are actually on it. I do stand behind it. It is a fantastic guide. If I were able to create one myself, it would look very, very similar to that one. So I will go ahead and link my affiliate link down below if you'd like to purchase it. Diana Hollish asks, hi, hello. Do you believe in calling eBay to reset your store? Urban legend. It's true. You want to know something else though? Come here, come here. You can do it yourself without calling eBay. I know. Shh. Don't tell them I told you. Shh. Now, resetting your store is basically doing a bulk refresh of all of your listings. A couple of years ago, I started hearing people talking about calling eBay to reset their store, and I was really intrigued by what exactly this meant. So I used eBay Concierge to call and ask about this question. And basically what the eBay rep told me was that when a representative is refreshing your store, they're basically just bulk editing all of your listings. And so I confirmed that yes, we can in fact do this ourselves. It's nothing special that eBay does on their end. So I did do a full video showing how to bulk edit your listings to technically refresh your eBay store. I will go ahead and link that video up here in the iCards. I'll also put it down in the video description. But that is definitely a form of activity that I feel like does help out your store. Picking, Painting, and Other asks, hi there. Hello. I have an odd question for you. Well, that's what I'm here for. Do you have retirement plans since you're your own boss and reselling doesn't come with a 401k? I've been reselling part-time and having some success, but have been afraid to jump to full-time and leave my job due to being scared of a lack of 401k, etc. Do you see yourself doing the same process into your retirement years? Thank you for your informative videos. I am so glad that someone brought this up. Thank you so much for bringing up this topic because yes, it's definitely something that needs to be talked about because when you are self-employed, it doesn't come with a 401k. It's not just reselling, it's any form of self-employment. You are responsible for funding your own retirement. I have actually been considering doing a video or some sort of series talking about like retirement and all of that. Right now, my husband does have a 401k with his employer, and we do also have index funds. So once my husband's job is over, we are just going to contribute to our index funds every single month. Also a Roth IRA, and I do invest in individual stocks with the Robinhood app. And I do have a referral code for Robinhood. It's down in the video description. If you want to sign up for Robinhood, you can get 1 free stock on their site. And that's how I got started with Robinhood. I wanted that free stock. So I will give you a free stock so that you can get started the same way I did with investing. Christy Talbot asks, have you noticed bulk boxes selling faster and at a higher price per unit since the airing of A&E's Extreme Unboxing? Honestly, I have not even looked at Bulk's page since that new show started. Frankly, I haven't looked at Bulk's lots since probably June. And the reason for that is ever since the pandemic started, I instantly noticed an increase in prices, and I started hearing more and more about quality control issues when it came to warehouse regulations because of COVID. But I do know that Bulk sponsors that show, so that means that any viewer that watches that show is instant traffic to their site, which can result in higher prices and more competition. Jay Arrowwood asks, hi there. Hello. I was wondering if you think that you can have a highly profitable business like $1,000 or more a month using only thrifted and yard sale finds, or do you think that liquidation is a must for that type of profit? You can absolutely do that kind of money with thrifted and yard sale items. My father is a perfect example of that. I have watched my dad make a huge side income just sourcing at yard sales. I do, however, think that liquidation and wholesale is a must if you are wanting to work less and continue to ramp up your business. Because here's the thing about yard sales, garage sales, thrift store finds. Those are all unique, one-of-a-kind listings. You have to list the item once, and then after it sells, that listing is dead. You have to create new listings all the time. But if you're buying liquidation and wholesale, you have the ability to have numerous items in the same listing. Every listing potentially can have a multiple quantity, which means you can create the listing once and continue to sell merchandise over and over again. I actually went into a lot of detail in a video talking about scaling up your eBay business, and I will put that up here. And in that video, I'll also link it down in the video description. liquidation, but in that video, I give examples, like visual examples of how you can scale up your eBay business by actually listing less and selling more when you do something like wholesale or liquidation. That is nearly impossible with yard sales or thrifting because they're unique, one-of-a-kind items, and once they sell, that listing is dead because you only had one. All right, now's the time. We're about ready to find out who won the next free 100 count lot from Wholesale Ninjas. Drum roll, please. The winner, chosen by random comment selection, is Sean L. Sean, I have already replied to your comment. Get in contact with me and I will hook you up with your 100 count liquidation lot from Wholesale Ninjas. Sean's question is, are there any other categories that you would consider outside of cosmetics, like toys, etc.? So I know that there are a lot of really good categories out there. And one of the reasons why I personally like to stick with health and beauty is because everything is really small and I can store a lot of merchandise because everything is so small. If I get into things like general merchandise, toys, or small appliances, that all tends to take up a lot more space, which is why I don't necessarily focus on branching out to other categories as much. But one category that I would definitely like to branch off into a little bit more is actually office supplies, because office supplies are consumable, people are always buying them, and they're still small, just like cosmetics are. It's also something that people buy all year round. Toys tend to sell a lot in fourth quarter, which is the time that we are in now. But I don't necessarily like to work more during fourth quarter because there are holidays and I want to be able to spend time with my family. I prefer to sell things that will sell all year round as opposed to a category that only sells well for a couple of quarters out of the year. So to answer your question, the other category I would consider would be office supplies. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Frequently Asked Fridays. The next episode will be posted on Friday, October the 30th. So you have between now and Wednesday, October the 28th to enter to win your own 100 count lot from Wholesale Ninjas, completely free. Thank you again so much to Wholesale Ninjas for sponsoring this video series and being kind enough to give away a 100 count box to one of my viewers every single episode. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you like content like this. I will link everything I talked about down in the video description. Please do remember to subscribe if you haven't already and ring the notification bell. That way you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. And thank you again so much for watching. I will see you guys with my next video. Bye-bye.